Hello guys, I got something really cool I would like you to check out here. I'd like you to meet Sushi, the polymer clay lizard. I chose the name Sushi because the canes were mistakenly assumed sushi several times, and I thought, you know what, it does look like sushi, and that would be a pretty catchy name. So I'm going to name it Sushi, the polymer clay lizard. But like any good fish, this one's not done yet. It should be, on a platter hanging on the wall. So there's going to be a little bit more to this, but in this video I'll show you how I go about doing all the black in between the cane slices I did in the last video. I do hope you enjoy. Okay, this is what was holding me up right here. I wasn't sure if I had enough Primo black, so I went to Hobby Lobby and got another 8-ounce block of Primo black, and it took me 4 days to get a chance to go to Hobby Lobby. But anyways, I made these cane slices rather thick, and that was to give me a margin of error if when I go to sand all this stuff. So I rolled out a few sheets of polymer clay of this black, different thicknesses, and what I found was setting 4 is pretty much the same thickness as the whole thing all around. It was the same pretty much setting 4, and that let me know that I can work with that setting and fill all these gaps in. So I just covered it in translucent liquid Sculpting, and I'm working it in with the brush, spreading it all around. I'm paying very, very close attention to the edges of those cane slices too, making sure it's on there as well. Then I just wrapped it in a sheet of the Primo black, rolled out on setting 4, and I worked it all down really good with my fingers, and I'm trying different methods here, trying to uncover the cane slices, because they bulged out. They were easy to identify. At first I went with my little palette knife, and I didn't really like that. I wound up using a dentist pick, just something kind of sharp to kind of outline them. That way I could pull the clay off. I only filmed doing the tail, the foot, and the head, and I showed you making the eyeball, one of the eyeballs and everything, because this was like about, I don't know, an hour and 45 minutes just doing this little bit, but it must have been at least 3-4 hours to cover this, and at least 6 hours to sand it. It was a lot of work. I'm not sure if this is the most practical way to go about doing this, but it's how I saw how to do it in my head, and the results were just, I do believe the the results were worth the effort. But I know I mentioned doing some kind of detail, maybe extra detail, but you know what, after all that work and everything, and not being able to really identify all the parts again because it was so messy, I just wanted to take my winnings and go here. I can always go on the outside and paintbrush, some glow in the dark on it or something. But this is right here is not so busy. I was afraid that might make it look busy, and this was my original idea in my head. I'm just happy with how it turned out, and I suppose by putting the cane slices on there and putting them on there with the liquid polymer as well, and working them on there very gently without distorting them, baking them, that gave me the most accurate image that I was looking to make, as opposed to putting the cane slices on there and then filling it in with black while they're all on there. By the time I worked everything on there, there's no guarantee that they wouldn't have distorted a little bit from all the pressing and stuff. The only thing I do regret is I started off with 100 grit sandpaper, which is really, really rough. I've never really used that. I never went that rough with this, but this was so thick, and I had, in places, the black was a lot thicker, and I had a lot that I had to cut off of there. And to cut to cut faster, you go with a heavier grit, a rougher grit. Well, I got all the yellow parts exposed, sanding it, and it left really deep gouges in there. Well, obviously because it was 100 grit. So I went over that with 320 grit wet and dry, and then from there 400 grit, and then I had just this wee little piece of 1000 grit that I had left over from some other project. It was enough. It doesn't really go bad, really. I went over it about an hour with 1000 grit, just trying to take the fine scratches out. But at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a picture of this where I have it rubbed down with soft soap in a napkin. It's all bubbly and wet. That is a really, really good way to check your sanding work and to see how it looks. It'll give you an idea once it's sealed, the shininess, how it looks. It'll be close to about like that. I did not film sanding this as well as sealing this. I've covered those things in other videos, and I'll leave links to those videos in the description below in case you wanted to see like what sealer I use and how I go about sanding it and the basics of it and everything. You can check that out. Well guys, that pretty much sums it up for this video, and it looks like this project's done, but it's not quite finished. There's just a little bit left to do with this, and this is not really to be taken as a final reveal. I really hope you guys like this, and I really appreciate you for being patient with me. This took quite a bit of time, plus I had to wait for some clay. Please like the video and drop me a comment. It would be amazing, and I really appreciate you for being patient and everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you here again soon.